Welcome to the Seriously Absurd podcast, where there are no stupid questions, only inquisitive idiots.
Hey, Zex.
Hey, Lab.
What are we talking about?
Today, we're going to talk about pockets. Specifically, what do you keep in them, and whether or not you have any sort of pocket philosophy.
And something tells me you do, so why don't you get started?
I really do. So, I keep a lot of things in my pockets. I also have a sort of general pocket philosophy, which is that I don't put anything in my pockets that was not previously in my pockets, with the exception of things like receipts or money. What I mean by that is I don't get home and hang up my keys on the wall or take my wallet out of my pocket. I will get home and I will take off my pants and put on lounge pants. And then everything that was in my pants pockets stays in my pants pockets until the next time I have to put on pants, and then it gets transferred out of one pair of pants into the new pair of pants. All of my sort of everyday carry items are always in my pants, whether it's yesterday's pants or today's pants.
Okay, so you just don't have like a bowl or counter that you put your stuff in? There's no intermediary step there?
The only time when there is an intermediary step is when I travel, because I don't want to have to deal with the hassle of taking everything out of my pockets at the security line. So I will put the entirety of the contents of my pockets into a Ziploc bag to send through the X-ray machine. But then as soon as I am through security, everything goes back in my pockets.
Okay, so what is in your pockets?
So I wear pants which could be considered by many to be cargo pants or tactical pants. And they have, I believe it's 20 or 22 pockets, depending on how you count. And I use most of them. So it would take a while to list out all of the things that I have in my pockets, but I will just give you the highlights. I carry two basically identical sets of keys in separate pockets. So one's in my front left pocket and one's in my front right pocket. And this is very convenient for two reasons. One, I started doing this when I was a teenager. So I had gone on a road trip with some friends, and my dad gave me probably the best advice I have ever gotten, which is it really sucks when you lock your keys in your car and you are 800 miles away from your spare set of keys. And I just thought, you know what? That is very insightful. And that's when I started carrying two sets of keys. And it didn't come in handy on that road trip, but it did come in handy on a subsequent road trip when I did actually absentmindedly lock my keys in my vehicle. Now, modern vehicles will prevent you from doing this. You know, they won't let you lock your key in the vehicle, or for the ones that are keyless, like they won't lock the vehicle until you have taken the key out of range, things like that. But 20 years ago, you absolutely could lock your keys in your car. So yeah, two separate sets of keys. And this is also really helpful, like if you're carrying groceries or whatever, like you can always get to a key to open a door or open a car door or something. I carry a pen, a notepad, two flashlights. One is a small little pen light that is the kind of thing that I could easily hand to somebody and would not mind losing. And the other is a more powerful flashlight that could set things on fire. But let's see here. I have a dedicated pocket for my phone, which is not a back pocket. It's a front pocket. I carry earplugs, headphones, dental floss, wallet. I keep a money clip in a separate pocket from my wallet so that my cash is not actually in my wallet, so that in the event that I were to be mugged, I could either A, offer the cash and keep all of the things in my wallet, or B, give up my wallet and not be left without any money. Any questions so far?
I didn't expect this. So why don't I go through my everyday carry and we can have a discussion about the differences between our philosophy. So first, actually, I remembered I made a Reddit post 6.5 years ago with my everyday carry.
Oh.
And I thought it'd be interesting to see how it's changed, because it has changed. So going through my everyday carry from 6.5 years ago in 2015, I have my phone, my wallet, which coincidentally is the same wallet that I have now. Business cards, which was particularly weird because in 2015 I was a student and did not have a job. So I had personal business cards. I don't know what I thought I would use them for, and I don't think I ever used them for. A watch, a pen light, a mechanical pencil of a particular brand, and a credit card multi-tool, which is basically a stamped sheet of steel that has like a little saw on it, a little can opener, a little measuring tape, that sort of thing. And then my keychain, which had my car keys, a bottle opener, a Phillips screwdriver, a USB to lightning adapter for my phone, and a USB flash drive. Fast forward to today, and I have my phone, my wallet, and my keychain, which has my car keys, my house keys, the keys to a mailbox. It has a Gerber shard, which is a combination screwdriver, bottle opener, sort of multi-tool. It's a very small thing. And now, recently, an Apple AirTag. And that's it. So when I fill my pockets in the morning, I have my phone, I have my keys, my keychain, and my wallet. And that's it.
Yeah. I imagine when we got into this conversation that you were going to have a much more minimalist approach to your everyday carry. And it seems I was right.
I think everyone on Earth has a more minimalist approach than you do. Because it's like, how many, what is the total mass of all this stuff? Have you ever weighed it? Do you just have like 5 or 6 pounds of shit
have not
in your
weighed
pants?
it. My pants are affectionately referred to by my spouse as my purse pants, because I do carry a lot of things. It's mostly just things over time that I have found useful that, why not carry them with me? Like the dental floss is actually a great example of this. You go to eat out at a restaurant and you get stuff stuck between your teeth. And sometimes a toothpick is enough, but really sometimes what you want to do is floss. And so I carry floss so that I can floss. I
understand that all of these things have utility, a potential utility, because, they're products that exist to serve a purpose that people encounter. Mm-hmm. But what about the cost that you are incurring by lugging so much stuff around, the inconvenience?
I don't really see it as inconvenient is the thing.
I certainly would. It's like some people, they every day carry a gun. And, depending on, one's circumstances in life, where you live, to be honest, your gender, you may or may not feel a greater or lesser need to carry a gun around. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, I live in a safe enough area and, I'm not at particularly high risk of being assaulted or mugged or anything like that, that the inconvenience of having to, conceal carry and manage and be responsible for and generally manage having a gun on my person is a greater cost to me than the potential benefit. Because what you think is like, okay, there's this hypothetical event where a gun, or you can say, wear floss or wear a flashlight strong enough to burn things, is useful to me. And then you think, okay, how often does such an event like that happen? And then you think, okay, then what is the expected value over time of carrying this thing around? So like, if you carry a gun around, every day for 15 years, and it has potential usage to you once, is that worth it? With a gun, people can make the argument that it's, your life at stake, and there's various arguments about that. But let's talk about just your absurdly powerful flashlight. So you carry that around every day for years and years and years, and it has some cost to you, however infinitesimal it may be, where, you have to manage it in your pocket, you're burning extra calories carrying it around, you're prohibited from wearing normal pants because you need your man purse pants.
So I have a couple refutations here. One, the burning of extra calories could be considered to be a benefit rather than a detractor. Two, I do consider these to be normal pants because they are the only pants that I have.
Okay.
Like I have 10 I believe it's 10 pairs of the exact same pants.
Okay, so now this cost that you're incurring is being unable to wear different pants. And that may not be a cost to you. You may not find that it'd be a disadvantage in not being able to wear, traditional pants that have 2 or 4 pockets in them. So, that's up to you, and you've obviously made this calculation for yourself. But when I do that calculation, I end up with a much more minimalist set because there is a cost associated with carrying these things around to me. It's like wearing a watch. I used to wear a watch. I considered buying an Apple Watch. But the cost of having a watch on my wrist and, being responsible for it, however little effort that is to just wear a watch on your wrist is more than the utility I get from that device. So as I've done that calculus with every item that I might conceivably carry on my person, we get narrowed down to the list of things that is essential and is worth the cost to me of carrying around.
Okay.
So somewhere the math we're doing is just not the same because I could not imagine. I mean, you can talk about your lifestyle as much as you want, but you're not Bear Grylls. And you're not living an extraordinarily rough and tumble life. Can you say that? Will you make that statement?
Yes, I am not living off the land. One of the things that is not in my everyday carry is a handgun. I do not carry a concealed weapon. Mm-hmm. I do carry a multi-tool that does have a blade on it. I actually carry 2 multi-tools that have different functions, but...
Why?
Well, because one of them has scissors and the other has pliers. It's a different feature set.
I have a multi-tool that has both. Maybe I should give you a link. And I still don't carry it in my pocket because it's inconvenient. Because I have 2 pockets. I have my phone in my right pocket. I have my wallet and keys in my left pocket. And that's it.
Maybe you just need to try better pants.
I mean, I'm familiar with cargo pants and the utility they serve, but it's inconvenient to have pants full of stuff.
Why?
Well, because, like you said, how much time do you think you've spent in aggregate moving stuff from one pair of pants to the next?
In aggregate? I don't know. I mean, it takes me a minute or 2 to repocket everything.
So, and I assume you wear a new pair of pants every day or few days or whatever. So, however often you wear them, that time will add up.
That's true.
You will have spent over years, several days of your life, moving stuff from one pair of pants to another. And that will be a dedicated activity because you're going in each and every of your 25 pockets or 20 pockets or whatever you said and moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how much effort that is over the long term and compare that to how much utility you get out of each and every one of those items. I think you could pare it down a lot.
I get a pretty good amount of utility out of just about everything.
How do other people manage it then? How do I go through life without constantly being, caught in with my pants down when I don't have a flashlight I can burn through paper?
Well, it's not that it can burn through paper that makes it worth carrying. That is one of its many features. It is more useful to me on its lowest light setting, where it could actually sustain that lowest light setting for weeks.
Have you been in a situation where you had to have a flashlight that could provide illumination for weeks at a time?
No, and I hope to never be.
Okay, so that's not really a benefit to you. You've not been in that situation and you don't intend to be. So the question remains, why?
Just in case.
So it seems you place a lot of value on being prepared for all eventualities.
Many eventualities, yes.
So many eventualities, whereas I try and take the Pareto optimal balance of things in my pants versus the effort required to keep them. And then that pairs me down to, I do my personal calculus and determine that list of things. Phone, keys, wallet, and the stuff on my keychain. So, okay, we're not going to see eye to eye on this.
No.
We're definitely not. This is not a numpad situation.
No, it's not.
So let me expand it for a moment because we might agree a little bit more on this one. Everyday carry for your car. Do you carry a broader assortment of things that might be useful to you in your car to where, it's a lot easier to have stuff stored in your car. There's a lot less cost to leaving it there. You don't have to move it to a new car every day. So do you do that? Because I've got stuff in my car that I'd like to keep.
Yeah. I mean, I keep emergency supplies in my car, protein bars, bottles of water, roadside emergency equipment, jumper cables,
Yeah. So you have a well everyday carry equipped car.
fire extinguisher.
And that's something I don't have. I should get a fire extinguisher. But
Should.
that's because it's very easy to put things in your car and leave them there. And
Right.
then they're always available to you wherever you are in your car.
Yeah.
So I agree with that because it's easy to have things in your car and it's easy to be prepared and there's very little cost associated with it besides the monetary cost of buying the stuff to have that in there.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between that and everyday carry on your person is that there is more effort required to manage the assortment of things that you have to keep with you at all times. And, it's not going to be worth it.
I would say that things have been different for me, definitely during the pandemic compared to in ye olden times. When I was regularly leaving the house, a lot of what I was carrying did find daily utility. Having a flashlight is something that is very useful. Having more than one flashlight can also be useful in certain circumstances when you are with another person and you're trying to find something in the dark. A lot of people will say you can just use your phone as a flashlight, but would you hand your phone to somebody else to use as a flashlight? I wouldn't.
I could lock my phone and do that, but
I don't. It's not a security thing. They're gonna drop it.
Oh, I mean, I would probably be fine with that.
Oh, I absolutely would not.
I don't think people are generally going to drop my phone. I mean, I would hold them responsible if they did, but
I think that everybody drops their phone. I have never in my life had a cracked screen on a phone. I have never dropped and damaged a phone. The only time, actually, one of my phones has been dropped and damaged, fortunately, it was just a scratch and not a crack, was when I handed it to somebody else to use. I don't hand my phone to other people.
Okay. I mean, I don't typically hand my phone to other people just because they have no reason to be looking at my phone or using my phone.
Right.
But if they needed a flashlight, it'd be okay.
I would absolutely hand them
a flashlight.
I would hand them my $6 flashlight.
So, how often have you gotten into a situation where you need a flashlight personally, and you also need someone else to have a flashlight?
There have been several occasions. Again, the pandemic skews things a little bit. But there have been several occasions where, looking for something in the dark, ironically, in one instance, it was somebody's phone. But yeah, it is something that does have its use. And the other thing about carrying a particularly powerful flashlight is that it is quite literally blindingly bright, which has a certain self-defense utility as well.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I have a laser here at home that can blind people. I should start every day carrying that.
You should start every day carrying your 1-watt laser.
The problem with my 1-watt laser is that it can blind people up close, and it can blind random people, a mile away, and people in nearby aircraft. And so that's not a good idea, and it's also quite bulky. Okay. So my laser is too bulky to consider everyday carrying because I have 2 pockets that I use. I don't really use my back pockets because I don't like to sit on my stuff. So I have that. And, I've sort of filled my pockets already. I sort of feel like I got a lot of stuff in my pants already just by having my phone, my wallet, and my keys because I have, a medium-sized keychain. So, I mean, I don't wear skinny jeans. I wear, standard trousers or khakis pretty much every single time or jeans.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a fashion choice on my part to restrict my everyday carry so that I can wear a certain type of clothing. It's just that I wear normal clothing that is, the most common type of pants that people wear, and then I'd suit my everyday carry to that and to the amount of effort it would take. You have your wardrobe dictated by the stuff that you everyday carry.
I think that language is a little loaded, but I went through many iterations of pants from many different makers before settling on the ones that I have, specifically for their utility for my everyday carry.
Right. So you made your choices in fashion, and I'm not gonna sit on my pulpit and say like I'm not fashionable either. But you're making your choices in the pants that you buy based on you wanting to have all of these things in your many, many pockets.
Yeah.
So is that not a cost to you? Like you lose freedom by doing that.
What freedom do I lose?
The freedom to wear other pants.
Okay.
You don't think that's a real freedom?
Not really.
I mean, I guess you don't. Well, you don't want to wear other pants because other pants can't accommodate your everyday carry.
Right.
You might like other pants if you didn't have all the stuff that you felt you needed to put in them. So, regardless of whether you feel like it or not, you're losing a freedom.
Why would I like other pants if they didn't carry the things that I want to carry?
Because they might look better. You might prefer them. If you did not have a specific desire for pants that carried all the stuff you want to carry, you would have a much broader selection available to you. And you would almost definitely choose pants, at least some of the time, that don't accommodate your everyday care, because that's no longer a consideration for you. So whether you acknowledge it or not, or whether you believe that it's a restriction on you or not, your choices are more limited due to your desire to have all this everyday carries. And that's apparently an okay compromise for you, because that's what you're doing.
Well, I don't really consider it a compromise, because I am a function before form sort of personality. So it is much more important to me that my pants be functional than they be fashionable.
Right, but I believe my pants should be functional as well. And that means they have 2 pockets. So we have different definitions of what function is. And I'm saying if your definition of functional was less extreme, as it is, to have, a dozen or more pockets or 20 pockets or whatever number you said, then you would have more choice in your fashion as a result. So I buy pants for function first. Do they fit well? Do they have the pockets that I like, which is to say 2 hip pockets that are, of a reasonable size. And then that's how I determine my function. Then I pick a color I like and whatever else. And you do that too, only your function is such a higher standard, such a higher bar, and it restricts your choices.
I suppose... truth be told, at one point I was considering just having pants custom made because I was having difficulty finding something that particularly suited my desires.
Wow. So that really says how serious you are about how vital you believe this everyday caring is to your daily life outside the house.
Yeah.
And I just can't. Maybe I don't have the life experience yet.
Maybe.
To understand.
Let me think about this for a minute here. When I was 24, 25, it was probably not until I was in my early 30s that I really started to carry more things with me.
How did your lifestyle change?
I got a multi-tool. Before going camping many years ago, and the utility of having tools with me just in my pocket was just very appealing to me.
So I get you place a lot of value on being ready for anything.
Not anything,
to an extent. Yeah, ready for a lot of stuff, ready for many possible eventualities.
Right. So I mentioned.
So I think we're getting there.
I mentioned earlier that one of the things I carry is earplugs, and the reason that I carry earplugs is because if I were to decide on a whim to go out to a nightclub or a music venue or something, I don't want to damage my hearing. And carrying, this pair of foam earplugs, disposable single-use foam earplugs in my pocket has very little cost to me, but has tremendous benefit for the long-term health of my hearing in the event that I need it.
But you carry them in your everyday carry every day.
Yeah.
Not just the days when you intend to go to a nightclub.
Yes, because sometimes I don't intend to go to a nightclub. I just find myself at a nightclub.
Okay, maybe you live a more adventurous life. But I think, when I go to a nightclub, I go to a nightclub because I wanted to go to a night, and I planned to go to a nightclub, and I made plans to go to a nightclub. But I digress. So I think I understand what the difference in our thinking is here. So let me run this by you and see if you agree. You place a lot of value on being prepared for many eventualities, to where you have the right tool for a job that may present itself to you that is, something that is possible to happen. While I have a different point of view on it, to where I assess how much value an object will have to me over a period of time, over on average, and I weigh that against the cost that I perceive I'm incurring by having to manage it on my person, to having to carry it in my pocket, to, unload and reload into a new pair of pants every day, and generally be responsible. You do your math and you decide that being prepared for all of these eventualities, which you might not even faced before, but are possible to encounter, you decide it's worth it to carry a lot of stuff in your pants in order to be prepared for that. I do the same calculation and I decide I don't want to carry as much stuff in my pants because not enough stuff has proven itself to have enough value to me to where I want to incur the cost I experience to manage it on my.
The one sort of distinction that I think I would make there is that everything that I carry is something that I started carrying because at one point I needed it.
Okay. How many of those objects have you then needed a second time after you started carrying them?
All of them.
Okay. We're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that there was ever a possibility that we were going to agree on anything here.
There is no chance. All right. Thanks, Zax.
Thanks, Lab.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Seriously Absurd podcast. Please come back again next week for a discussion about something.